As I was about to respond, he pepper sprayed me. I couldn't speak anymore because he overdid it. It was all over. I was dizzy. At that time, I had dreads, long dreads. So he started assaulting me. He pulled me to my bedroom. It was only me and him. I had a son at that time. My son was at school. And then he would strangle me with my dreads. Hi, I'm Maureen Zamagatsheni Ndlovu, originally from KZN. I grew up with my siblings and my father and my mother. Obviously, my father was very, very abusive to my mother. We witnessed that so much. So when I grew up and came to Joburg with my best friend, and we were visiting her sister. She was staying in East Side. So when we got there, and I remember my boyfriend at home, he reached out to me and I said, I'm not coming back. I'm going to start my life right here. So that's how I got to Joburg. So in 2011, but all this time I've been attracting men that are very, very abusive, but I didn't see anything wrong. I thought it was normal because my father was the same. So I carried on with my life until at some point I met this guy that disappeared. It's in the thin air, and I was like to my friend, we had a mutual friend, me and him. I asked her, where is this guy? And she told me that the guy went to prison. So now the guy, when he was about to be released, he reached out to our mutual friend and said, where's Maureen? And I need to know where she is right now and I need contact with her. She asked me and I said, no, it's fine, you can give it to him. He's about to be released and what happened to him. She told me a story that was not really heavy that much, so it didn't get me scared. And this guy requested me that I bail him out all the money that was supposed to be paid out for him to be released. I did that because I still liked him. After that, after 8 months or so, and he started to be very, very abusive because I took him in, giving him a second chance. So he was abusive, started to say, now you mustn't go out with your friends must come here if they want to see you, I'll cook for you guys. It happened once, twice. Third time I was like, but what does this mean? Which means I'm no longer going to go out with my friends. At some point, he'll just sit and guilt trip me, crying and say he doesn't deserve me. And it happened many times. I was like, no, man, this is not on. I can't see my friends anymore. And this guy is forever emotional and I don't know how to deal with him anymore. So after that, I remember my father was sick in KZN. I had to go home and see him. And my other male friend just sent me a plane ticket. And as I was about to pack and go, he was supposed to take me to airport or Tambo. He was the one, my boyfriend was supposed to take me there, and he was driving my own car. And then he came to the house and I was still packing. I had a pepper spray in my bedroom, but I didn't know anything about the 5 days that was about to take place. So he went and sneaked and checked in my purse and found this flight that somebody else has bought it for me. And he said to me, oh, well, I think I'm coming with you. And I said, but no, you can't come with me. I'm a Zulu girl. I cannot just bring a boyfriend at home. It doesn't work like that. And he said, okay, you know what? I know you're going to your boyfriend and all that. As I was about to respond, he pepper sprayed me. I couldn't speak anymore because he overdid it. It was all over. I was dizzy. At that time, I had dreads, long dreads. So he started assaulting me. He pulled me to my bedroom. It was only me and him. I had a son at that time. My son was at school. And then he would strangle me with my dreads. And he took the big box of the computer, the one that stays behind the computer. You know those old computers? He smashed my head. From there, I lost the speech. I couldn't speak anymore because I'm trying to explain and he doesn't want to hear me. So I was like, but what's going on? And I could feel that my jaws were shifting, were not aligned anymore because he had hit me a lot on my head. So I remember I couldn't walk anymore and I was crawling and I started bleeding in all the holes, you know, women holes and all that. I started bleeding. I was trying to stop him. It couldn't work. I tried to grab his packages. I was too weak, and and my blood was too much. I was slippery. It was slippery. I was hitting myself at the same time. I remember I hit my hip while I was trying to stand up. So at some point, I couldn't speak anymore. The speech was not coming out. He pushed me to the shower. He said, go and shower and clean yourself, the blood. As I was trying to get to the shower, I'm crawling. The blood is too much. I don't know what to do. But I can't see anymore. I see with one eye because another one was already swollen. And this one was seeing just vividly. And then I went to the shower. He opened cold water. I hate cold water. He opened cold water and it splashed me in the blood. I could see the blood a little bit with my right eye. And then it's flowing to the shower. And I was like, no, I'm finished here. I came out. He was HIV positive, and I knew he was. He was protecting me all this time. He was wearing protection. But that day, remember, he asked me, he said, you have to choose between the two things now. I have finished to shower myself, the blood is off, but I'm still dripping blood everywhere. He said to me, you'll choose between I'll rape you without a condom or I'll slit your throat. I had to choose for myself now and said, no, what? If he slit my throat, I might not survive. Rather, he raped me. And I chose the rape. I pleaded for the protection, but the words were not coming out anymore. So I chose the rape part, and then he raped me, and from there he said, okay, fine, then I can kill you. Then he took all the belts that were in the wardrobe, and then he strangled me with all of them. I remember the foam that was coming out of my mouth, and now it was red because there's a lot of blood coming out from everywhere. And then I remember he was speaking, because I was in and out of conscious now. And then he said, man, he was talking to himself. But my last word I said, my son. He realized what did I mean with that. I meant that my son was coming back from school. Then he quickly grabbed me with a big towel, bathing towel, and then wrapped me. But he thought, no, she's gone, she's dead. Then he was speaking on the way. I heard him. He lowered the seat on the passenger seat. He covered me with the towel so that the securities won't see him passing with the body, because that's what he thought, it's a body. But now, because I'm in and out of conscious, I could hear him talking to himself. I'm going to dump this body in a private space wherever, in Pretoria. She's not used to Pretoria anyway. The police will never going to catch me. I'm like thinking, which means he thinks I'm dead. Then I had to keep it that way so that he can believe that I'm dead. I remember he drove to this clinic. It's called Lehigh Clinic in Pretoria somewhere. As we got there, I remember I'm sitting in a passenger seat in my own car. He pushed my body. He was trying to push my body on the floor, in the ground, so that he can pull out and run. As he was pushing my body, I fell on another chair. So I couldn't understand what was going on. Then I heard the third voice, which means now it's mine. And it's this guy that thinks that I'm dead, my ex. Then there's a security guy who quickly saw the car and ran and got the wheelchair. Then when he's pushing my body, I fell on the wheelchair. Then the security guy pulled it and he was running to the casualty with me. And my ex was surprised that I woke up. However, there was nothing on my brain. He has hit at me a lot. I was beaten, like my head was too swollen, I couldn't carry it. The memory was gone. As I was in and out of conscious, I remember the nurse was stitching my left eye. She said to me, when I woke up, she said, oh, thanks God you are alive. We are so sorry that you were hijacked going to OR Tambo. That sticked on my mind, of which I thought that's what happened, because everything was wiped off. And I was like, oh, okay. But I couldn't speak, but I was like shaking my head to say, I hear you. And then they took me today I see you. And then after that, quickly, after a few days, I came back to the ward. This guy came back. I was not sure who was he to me now, because everything is lost. And then he said to me, your son is with me in your house. Remember, I'm staying with him. If you tell the police, you know what will happen to your son. After a few days, I woke up and I remembered, because one of my friends said to me, Maureen, there is no way that you were hijacked going to our Tambo. Your boyfriend has got something to do with what happened to you. Everything came back after a few days now, because I'm trying to think, if it's not what this happened, then what is it? And then everything came back. And I was like, okay, fine. I waited for him to come through one day, and then he came through. And I said to him, how on earth would you try to kill me? That's when he confessed everything he tried to do. Yes, I tried to kill you, and there, you didn't die. But you cannot report me at the same time. I was like, okay, fine. I cannot report you. So my ex-boyfriend, after a few years, he attempted to murder me, and then he got married to this other lady. And I heard that the lady was trying to reach out to me. I was like, no, but I don't have anything to say to this lady. I cannot talk to her. But he was abusive to her too. Then I became very guilty. I remember on 2017, 1st August, I went to open the case. Because now I was ready, I was no longer depressed, I was no longer taking any pills. I went to open the case for the sake of the next person, because I wouldn't live with myself if he can go out and kill somebody else. And I kept quiet, I never reported him. So now I reported him, but the case is still open, but nothing much is happening. So now he left that lady left him, in fact, and they divorced. I don't know if they did officially or not. He's staying with another lady somewhere in the south. They've got a baby now. Yes, I hear from our mutual friend, because we still have this mutual friend. Then I asked from that clinic, can they please transfer me to Castanov in Midrand, because I wanted to see my son. Then they transferred me. However, they didn't send me with the file, because they didn't want me to go. The good thing that they did in that first hospital was that they gave me the ARVs to clean up my blood, because I was raped by somebody who was already sick. I explained it to them. Then I came back. Now I started the healing. I don't have a file, what happened to me, what they treated me for in the other hospital. Now I'm in Midrand. They don't know how to help me, because they don't know where to take from. That hospital is refusing with my file. Then life goes on. I'm like, okay, fine. If there's nothing can do for me, they only did a CAT scan. They checked my head, because they realized that I couldn't walk because my head was heavy. Then they did a CAT scan and all that, and then they realized that in the left eye, I'll go blind. However, the doctor told me, do not sneeze, do not sniff, do not do nothing that will touch your nose. I tried to do that for a few weeks. I didn't sneeze, I didn't cough, I didn't do nothing. Until the doctor came back to check on me, and she said, you know what, you won't lose your sight from your eye now. You are healing. Then I asked, can I go home? I need to see my son, because there's nothing can do for me except this. Then I went home. I found him still there. And then he started begging me, and I said, no, I'd pack your things and go. I just want you to go. But now I couldn't go back to the bedroom, because all the memories were coming back, and the nightmares and everything. And then eventually he moved. Now in that healing, while I was still healing, there's a police guy that I reported to, because the same ex-boyfriend, he realized that I was healing, and then he came back and stole my car. He stole my car because I went out with my niece. When I came back with it, he had already came inside the house and found my son sleeping. And then he woke him up. He said, no, I came to take my jacket. I left my jacket here. My son knew that this is uncle, so he didn't know much. And then he went and stole my work laptop and took his jacket. He knew why he was taking that jacket. And he stole my car spare keys. He went out. He went to the unit that was empty. He sat there Until around 2, when I came back with my niece Bongiwe. We came back and then we were chilling from out. Like, it was my first time to go out again. I mixed all the makeup so that I can hide the bruises and the blue eyes and the purple eyes. So I looked good and people like noticed me. I was like, okay, fine, which means I'm healing. Now I'm back. He's sitting in this one empty unit. He's waiting for us to come back so that he can start this car with the spare key that he stole in the car. In the house. And then we went inside and then we slept. In the morning, I wake up, Bonge, where's the car? You know when people are saying you literally go under the cupboard and under the bed? I did. I went straight under the bed looking for my car. My car is not there. But we left the car in the parking, Auntie. Bonge said. I was like, okay, fine. Which means the car is gone. We went to the securities. The securities are telling me, no, man, your boyfriend was here. He drove away with the car. We thought that everything are good between the two of you. Well, I was not going to put anything onto the securities. Then I reported that. That's it. Now there is a police guy that was working with the lady police. They were working together. When I was reporting the car, we became close. They said, okay, fine, no, I know you're staying with your son. We'll come around and check on you all the time and see if you're safe. Then that was good. And there was another one, detective. There was one who was handling my case now for the car, not for the assault. Because the assault, I have not opened the case for. Because of the car, I went on depression. I was admitted again in a mental institution. And then when I came out, okay, fine. Now I went back to the gym. I was always the person who was very active. I went back to the gym. It was 6 months after I was released from the mental institution. Before then, the pills that I was taking for depression, they will make me to pass out for a few seconds, if not a minute or few minutes. But it was not long because the dosage was too strong. I remember one day when I was about to go to the mental institution, this police guy, because I didn't have a car anymore, my ex has stolen it. This police guy is the one who took me to that hospital. And then he left me there with my niece. And then, okay, fine. I passed out in the gym and I woke up in hospital. Why am I here again? Then the gynecologist said to me, we need to check what is wrong with you. I'm like, but there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed. That's all. And then he took that thing when you're checking if you're pregnant. But doctor, no, I don't sleep with anyone. I said, no. Let's be sure. The moment he checked, he said, but we are 6 months pregnant. I'm like, pregnant by who? I don't sleep with anyone. I've been off the relationship for the longest time, not even 6 months. It's been longer than that. What do you mean I'm pregnant? He said, and it's a girl. I was like, okay, fine. What is this? I sat down. I never slept with anyone. It didn't come to my mind at all. Then I sat down. I remember I dreamed one day, because I was too angry. I gave birth, and my daughter turned 1 year. I'm looking at this child. This child doesn't look like anyone I know. Second year now, I was very angry at God. I was like, God, you know what? There is no way that I can go through so much and still you give me this. Who's the father of this child? There is no way I could have made this child alone. God said, you know what? Fine, keep on praying. I dreamed, I saw. God only said, I don't know if it was God, but something said, bring only the guys you saw when you were healing. I don't know if it was a dream, but I believed it was God. And then I said, who did I see when I was healing? Detective and this police guy that's got a partner that is a girl. Then detective is very light in complexion and my daughter is dark. And then I went to Woolworths, I've got some salad and chicken, I couldn't cook. I invited the detective and I'm sitting with him like having a conversation and I'm looking at the features of the detective. They don't look like my daughter. Can't be this guy. Then one day, and then he left. I invited this one that's always with a lady. I said, okay, fine, come, let's chill. It's been a long time. Where have you been? That day, I took his cap. He was always wearing a cap, and I threw it by the door. And he went for it. The head at the back, it looked exactly like my daughter's head. And the ears, they were exactly like my daughter's ears. When he took his cap from the floor, he came back, he was very angry. He said to me, "Why did you do that?" I was like, "But why did you rape me? You knew that I was taking pills and they were strong and I passed out. And reason why I'm saying it's you, the time when you left me in the mental institution, my niece told me you came back, you said you forgot something in the bedroom. Why you forgot something in the bedroom? What was that?" He said, "I forgot my gun." He forgot his gun when he was raping me. He left it under the bed, and then he took me to hospital. But he didn't realize that when he's coming back with my niece, he's gonna go through my main bedroom to fetch the same gun. And my niece was like, "Yeah, I saw him. He went inside there and he said he forgot his gun." And I was like, "His gun in auntie's bedroom." Fine. And when I said, "Why did you rape me?" he just turned from there. He was very angry. He left. After 6 to 8 months, he came back and apologized. Said, "Sorry, I did rape you. I did take an advantage. I asked you to date you and you said you were not ready. But that time I found you passed out and I knew that you were taking very strong depression pills. And then I quickly raped you. I didn't know you'd get pregnant." So my rapist, the police guy now, the father of my daughter, after a year or so, he came back and said, "You know what, let's get married because we already have a child." I was like, I'm not going to get married to my rapist. Few months from there, because obviously, which means they don't like to be rejected, he went to his baby mama, shot her dead from behind, and then he shot himself. That was it about him before I even reported him. Now I've got a daughter that's good. That's from the rape, is a rape product, if I must say so. But I love her to bit. I love her so much, and I named her Diamond. She's my diamond. And I realized that was my healing all the time. Then I started writing. My writing was to heal from what happened. And I realized if I didn't have that daughter, as small as she was, maybe I would have taken my life. But because she was there, God knew what he was doing. I realized she's young, I cannot leave. I cannot leave this world. I'd rather stick around and raise her. And I said, no, I do choose it happened for a reason. Then I carried on. I wrote the book. I started my healing. The book is called Connecting the Dots Backwards. And I was talking to women to say, you know what, ladies, you cannot give up. A lot has happened to me. If it didn't happen to me, who else was it supposed to happen to? Was it going to be okay if it happened to a next person? What if they couldn't survive it? I'm strong enough to say, you know what, whatever happened in life, you can deal with it. Although it's not easy, but you need to know how to kneel down and talk to God and make it clear what you want to happen in your life. The healing takes longer. My healing came through my writing. I'm sitting here now because I'm writing my third book. I couldn't stop writing because I know I must heal other women out there. My story needs to talk to somebody out there. I'm no longer hurting. I'm not my past. I'm who I am today. And I'm proud of saying, you know what, those scars that happened to me, they became my birthmarks. I'm not gonna get rid of them. I have them, they remind me, and I'm okay now. I can deal with them. Hi, my name is Maureen Zamagatsheni Ndlovu. I have been through the most.